So what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to rig a wacky rig. Now, most guys will use stick baits for a wacky rig, but you can use pretty much any types of soft plastics that you have in your tackle box. From ribbon tail worms to lizard baits to craw baits, flukes, or swim baits. They all work wacky rigged. It's just you may need different types of tools or O-rings and things like that to actually accomplish that. Now, these right here are the stick baits that I'm going to be using today. These are Bass Pro Shop brand Sticko worm, and this is a 7.5 inch. This is a 5 3/8 inch. This is a 4 1/4 inch, and this is a 3 inch. All of these have its place in my tackle box. On the days that the big boys are looking for some big worms, I will go with the 7 inch. The normal size that I normally use is right around the 5 to 6 inch range. And then once you start getting that really tough bite, you get into the smaller ones, the 4 1/4 and the 3 inch ones. So let's show you some of these tools. This right here is the Wacky Rig O-ring tool. As you can see, I already have an O-ring up there and some O-rings down here at the bottom. These are the ones that came with the tool. Basically what this is a tube. You basically stick the worm inside, put the ring on, and get it about halfway in the middle of the worm, and then you're pretty much set from there. Or like some people, they like to put 2 on and make an X out of them, but we'll show you that in a second. This right here, the bottom part unscrews, so you can add more rings. Now you could add different size rings as well, and I'll show you some of the different size rings that I got as well. You put this back on, and then stick it in your tackle box with the rings on it, and you're ready to rig pretty much whenever you want. I'll show you what you do is you basically take that ring and you slide it up like this, bring it up towards the end, and then I like getting it real close to the end so it's ready to go, and then you're ready from there. Now, this right here is an Eagle Claw 1/0 hook. This is a wacky hook specifically for wacky rigging. I like using them when I'm going to use this style of hook for wacky rigging. This is a 2-aught owner. I like both the Eagle Claw and the owner style hooks. They've been very good to me as far as hookups. This is another Eagle Claw hook. This is a 3/0. This right here is a wide gap worm hook. This is a 3/0. Here are some other size O-rings. I went to Grainger to get these. You can get like a 100 pack for like $3 or $4. This is the O-ring number 41. It's a 9/16 by 7/16 by 1/16. Grainger part number 1KET5. Use those for the anything 7 and over. And then these are the ones that came with the Wacky Ring tool right there. Let me show you one of the ones that I got from Grainger just so you guys can see the size difference. And then last over here are some nail weights. Now, you can get nail weights pretty much at any of the tackle shops that you guys go. I can get them at Bass Pro Shops. It's close to my house. But these right here, I basically made out of nails. I just cut the points off of nails, and you can pretty much make whatever size you want. That just adds a little extra weight in those wacky worms whenever you need that. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start off with this big boy right here. Only because you don't use the wacky tool for this. The wacky tool is too small. This will not fit inside of there. So I'm going to show you that with the bigger O-rings, just so you can get an idea of how to rig the bigger ones. So you put the O-ring over the tapered end, and you basically bring it up to the center of the bait. Put it in half like this. You want it in the center, just like that. At this point, you're basically rigged. You take your 3/0 wacky hook and you put it through just like that. This is one way of rigging wacky worm, just like this. However, I like to use 2 rings, and I'll show you that in a minute. So we'll take the smaller one. This is the 5 3/8 inch, and we will find the center by basically folding it in half like this. I will put it in the Wacky ring tool, and I will pop that ring on just like that. Okay? If you guys can see that. Now, like I said, I like to put 2 rings on. So I'm going to get this ring right at the end there, get myself all prepared. I'm going to put the worm inside the Wacky tool, and I'm going to have that sticking out just like this at an angle. And most of the time when you pop off that other ring, it will crisscross automatically. This one did not. So what you got to do at that point is you're going to have to crisscross it yourself. Just like that. Okay, if you guys can see that. See how that's crisscrossed? Little X there, little X there. So this one I would use the 2/0 hook. And what you're going to do is you're going to put that through the X. Try not to hook into the rings. And there you go, just like that. Much better hookup ratios rigged like this rather than this way. This way is okay, and it does work, but when the bass go to hit it, they got to bend down this whole worm, and then you got to set the hook, and it just makes it a little bit tougher for me to set the hook, I feel. When it's like this, the bass go to hit it, this automatically comes up and hooks in the roof of their mouth. I get much better hookups, whether it be in the roof of the mouth or on the side of the mouth. I tend to just get much better hookups this way. So I like rigging it this way much, much better. So now that we have this, let's say you want to add some weight, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to take your nail weight, just like this, and you're going to put it in the end. Let's say you only want weight on one end, and one of the reasons why you would only want weight on one end is, let's say you're pitching at docks. So you give it a pitch, the momentum with the weight is going this way, and it gets close to that dock, and what it does is it drifts in the water underneath that dock based upon momentum where the weight is. That's one side. Now let's say you just want it on both sides because you want a different style of action. It's a little bit tapered here, so what I like to do is I like to go about maybe a 1/4 inch up and then put it in right around there. Try to keep it in the center. I mean, there's no exact science to this. And then you got it weighted on either end, basically. Your hook's in the center, and then the weights are on either end, so it creates a slightly different action in the water. Sometimes that invokes a strike. So now, let's say you're fishing from shore and there's a ton of weeds, okay? You can Wacky rig. If you take the weight out, you can Wacky rig with your wide gap hook, okay? So you fold it in half and you just go to the other side, just to the side of that fold, so it's not totally on the center. You turn it around like this. So you got your Wacky worm looks like this. Your stick worm looks like this. Now you basically put it just like that, hook it in, and that makes it weedless. And then you could toss this around a bunch of heavy cover. Now you're still probably going to hang up in the weeds a little bit like this. So let's say you're really hooking up in the weeds because they're really bad and you want it to be even more weedless. Well, you take your wide gap hook and you basically Texas rig your Wacky worm. So you stick that in just like that, right up to that bend. You bring the hook out bring it up, and of course all this would be tied on, and just past that bend like that. Now, what you got, it'll look like this. You want that hook to come through right here. So you mark it off basically with your thumb, where my thumb is. You fold it down, and then you put it through like that. Try to stay on center. Basically just like this. And to make it even more weedless, you give it a pinch right here, push up, and then you put the tip of that hook, you just skin hook it right in there, just like that. And here you have a Texas rigged, kind of a wacky action worm. You only get the action on one side at this point, but it's weedless and you can fish this around a lot of heavy cover and still kind of have that stick worm. Fish love these stick worms. It's such a simple bait, but they love them, and they especially love them wacky rigged. So don't forget to check out the links at the end of my video. Thanks for watching, and as always, fish on.